All right, man, class is now in session. The No Ball Better University. I am your professor, Jesse Holley. All my good students, you guys come and sit at the front. All you ones who don't really want to know about anything, you guys go ahead and sit at the back. As the Cowboys get ready to take on the New York Football Giants, we always talk about trying to create matchups. It's something that CeeDee has talked about, using different various ways to do so. I know, I get it. CeeDee Lamb, he had some drops last week, but I don't think that's going to persist this game. And if CeeDee does it right, he can create the matchup that he wants. At least I hope that he can. That gets us to where we need to get to between CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And I think George Pickens will get a couple of more targets this week. But first, all right, let's get to it right here with CeeDee Lamb. All right, you see CeeDee Lamb at the bottom of the screen. This is against Paulson Adebo. And so now one of the routes they have run in this offense for Mike McCarthy when he was here, Brian Schottenheimer now that he's here, as they're running this sort of sail route, corner route that converts into a sail route. So the thing about this, when you look at CeeDee Lamb, you know, from the coverage, it looked like it's going to turn into a cover 2 type situation. That safety is down a little bit, but at the snap, you'll see he will drop back. At the snap of the ball, CeeDee Lamb gets off of the ball. And now what he does is he drives this route inside. When he drives this route inside, you see that that cornerback, he takes the bait by going inside. And now if you have over-the-top help, then you should have stayed firm and not given up, opened up the gate, we call it. You see where that arrow is pointing, that safety, that cornerback's gate has opened up, and now he's giving CeeDee Lamb that window of opportunity to push up the field. So he's already created space by driving the DB inside. The DB's feet are stopped. And now CeeDee continues that route up the field. That safety's eyes is looking back at the quarterback, still looking back at the quarterback. And now when you look at this picture right here, CeeDee Lamb has created leverage. He's running an out route. He's created leverage on this out route because the cornerback is left inside. Right now, the safety is left inside, and now he has all of this room from where he starts to the sideline to get this route open and to get this throw there. I love the timing of this. When you see this, CeeDee is out of the break. I always tell people when NFL running receivers, if they're running an out route and they can see the quarterback release the ball, ball's late. But you can already tell this ball is on the way as CeeDee is coming out of that break. And I love this throw because it's layered. It's throwing up and over that DB, but it drops down just before that safety can get there to disrupt this. And of course, CeeDee Lamb does what CeeDee Lamb does. And now you see 2 defenders right there converging in on CeeDee Lamb. Now you see me, whoop. Now you don't, to the end zone for a touchdown. So we know that CeeDee Lamb, he can create some things by using his leverage, by the way that he runs routes, and he gets open. But what I also want to see from Brian Schottenheimer this week, he did it last week with the motion in the first half of the game. But now we need to extend that into game 2. Carry that back, tote that thing over into week 2 with using the motion to create the matchups you want. Let's take a look about what George Pickens last year in Pittsburgh. George Pickens is in the slot right here. Again, when you create this motion, you give a telltale sign to the quarterback. What coverage are they in? All right, cool. But now when you make the DBs have to now switch out on who's one now, who's the number 2 receiver. So the receiver, Austin, comes in motion across the field, lines up on the outside of George Pickens. And just like CeeDee ran a similar route, the corner route or the sail route, you see that DB is already matched up inside. Leverage already won. What does George Pickens do? He just continues on that route. He continues to come at that DB. Now, the DB is 10 yards off when George Pickens gets to him, and his feet are still. If a DB's feet are still and they open up the gate, you have won the route, especially if you are running an out route. As you can see right here, that DB's feet are stopped. That hip is open. You have given the gateway for George Pickens to run up and out of that route. This might be one of the prettiest balls that you've ever seen thrown because Russell Wilson laces one to George Pickens. And again, he layers it over top of that DB, down before that other safety gets there. George Pickens gets the catch. And you know that George Pickens, that he can go up and he has one of the best high pointing abilities that you have out there. So with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, Brian Schottenheimer, he has the ability now to create the matchup that he wants. And if you're going to use those routes, charging the ball down the field for some big plays, 20-plus yards, explosive plays down the field, those corner routes, those sail routes are routes that you can run against the DBs that now are on the Giants that they have both beaten in separate situations. So the Cowboys are prime and ready to go. I don't think CeeDee Lamb will drop too many more passes. I think he's looking to get back and have a revenge game. George Pickens had 4 targets last week. That number's probably going to go up a lot this week from Brian Schottenheimer. You can see a big day from both George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb in the passing game. So that's KBBU, No Ball Better University.